Thanks for staying with us right here on Sunrise, the music of Bonani Mhlongo, entertaining us right here on the show as we continue and we're focusing on education. Now, Microsoft South Africa and the Gauteng Provincial Government recently launched the Tshepo 1 million digital mass learning system at Sebokeng Library. This initiative aims to upskill around 400,000 unemployed young people across the province. Joining us in studio to unpack this program is Chief Operations and Marketing Officer Kethan Parbhoo. And of course, we were expected to also be joined by the Gauteng Education MEC, Panyaza Lesufi, this morning. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to make it. All right. Kethan, thanks very much for joining us right here on the show this morning.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you.
So this is a very ambitious project. Is the number correct? 400,000?
That is correct. I think what's in partnership with the Gauteng Provincial Government, the 400,000 between now and almost mid-2019. It is part of the Tinti 1 million program, which is a line and part of the bigger program, the Tshepo 1 million. So in total, we're looking to try and educate and train almost 1 million youth between 15 and 24 years. Yeah.
Okay, so the Tshepo 1 million program, obviously the big idea is to upskill and expose young people to employment opportunities, throughout the province. So why this partnership? Why is it important for Microsoft to be part of this?
So I think, we've always worked very well as Microsoft South Africa with the South African government. And when the Gauteng Provincial Government approached us to say, we'd like you to be involved with a project like this, we got very excited, and it's an opportunity for us to work with the government. We know there's challenge in society around unemployed youth. A recent study that was done by Statistic SA in terms of the labor market in South Africa showed that, between 30% of our population between 15 and 24 years old are neither in formal education, training, or don't have some of the necessary skills required for jobs. So we became excited about the opportunity to partner with the Gauteng Provincial Government in a way that will help us actually alleviate some of those challenges by providing some of the necessary skills required for people to, get into formal employment or hopefully even start their own companies and jobs. Okay,
so let's talk about some of those skills that Microsoft has got on offer for these young people. What are they going to be exposed to?
So again, we looked at the market, we looked at what was the requirement, and a study we commissioned between ourselves and the IDC, a study entitled Skills Required for Tomorrow's Best Jobs, found that the Microsoft Office skills are one of the top 3 requirements for jobs when people were looking for employment. And so working with the Gauteng Provincial Government, we launched the program Tint E-Million, which requires a mass online digital learning system for people to use things like Office, PowerPoint, and Word. And that would give them the basic digital literacy as a starting point in order for them to be able to go and look for jobs in the formal sector.
So this is the foundation skills for anybody who could be going into any field, to be exposed to the Microsoft programs, so that it gives them the confidence to be able to get into the general employment that's out there.
Correct. A lot of as we said earlier on, some of the skills that these people require from these, it just doesn't exist. So the reality is we wanted to find a way of almost bridging the digital divide and give them as a foundation to start with. It doesn't mean over time, obviously, they can expand and get additional skills. And so the learning program that we're launching with the Gauteng Provincial Government almost becomes a starting point for future skills. But at this stage, the key is to make sure that everybody can have access to skills like Word, PowerPoint, and Excel to get into the formal sector.
Okay, so how is the program going to roll out?
So we've already started to roll out the program, and we're doing it via an online channel as an example. So people can use their mobile phones, available now on the App Store on Android phones. They can go through and download the app to get interactive digital learning. They can also use it via an interactive web portal or via libraries across Johannesburg as an example at no cost. They can go and then get access to the training, the curriculum, as well as some of the assessments in order for them to get a certification for Word, PowerPoint, and Excel as part of the Microsoft products.
Yeah, because I was just, when you were saying via Android or apps, I'm like, okay, that's data right there. And young people and data costs don't go together.
Agreed. And that's why we had to look at different options. One is the libraries in Johannesburg as an example, and where we know the Gauteng Provincial Government is actually rolling out a dedicated broadband network for the Tinti E-Million program, so that, again, the cost of data will be then taken care of at the libraries, by the Gauteng Provincial Government, so the libraries will have access to a broadband to be able to facilitate that. And certainly that people also have the option of accessing it, in a phone environment where the consumption of that data is not as high as you would traditionally expect from other apps.
Okay, so how do I qualify to actually be eligible for this program? Do I just have to be a young person in Gauteng? I can go to my local library, register. What is the process?
Correct. You can go also to our website. You can go to the Tinty E1 Million website, and you can go and get all the details that's required. You can go to libraries in Johannesburg. And that would be a good starting point to go and see.
What's the website again?
So you can go to the Tinty, T-I-N-T-I, million.co.za.
T-I-N-T?
Million.
Tinty, yes.
Yes, million.
Okay.
.co.za, and get all the details that's required there. Or go to any of your libraries in Johannesburg, which will also be able to help you with registering and starting up with this learning.
Okay. So obviously this is a program currently in the Gauteng province. Is there any plans for it to roll out in other parts of the country?
So at this stage, we started with the Gauteng Provincial Government. They had partnered with us, they had approached us, and certainly we're using this as an opportunity to at least have an impact starting off in Gauteng. We'd love to try and see if we can roll this out into other parts of the country because we know that this is not a need just for this province. But at this stage, it started for Gauteng only.
What would you say, from some of the research that you referred to earlier on, what are the key things that are sort of like blocking access that keeps the digital divide at where it is, especially for a country like ours? Why are people still not having access to technology that way?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think the reality is there's multiple factors. First of all, if people are not in formal education, as an example, if they're not in schools, they're not going to get access to some of those learnings. As we know, companies like ourselves and other companies have provided people with access to some of the technology in order to get access to some of these tools. But if they're not in the formal schooling system, that's going to prevent them. The second reason, I think, is people don't know where to go and get information. So even if they're in formal schooling, where do we get access to some of these tools and technologies? And that's why trying to make it pervasive in the form of an app, in form of an interactive portal via our website, or going to a library, is just another mechanism that we have. And I think, those are, it's about access. It's about making sure people have the opportunity to find what they want when they want.
Okay. Please can you repeat that website for us once again?
So it's www.tintimillion.co.za.
Okay, tintimillion.co.za. All right, great.